Hey everybody, what's going on? Dace here and welcome back. I knew it was only a matter of time before Mayflash put out their own all-button controller. When they announced the F500 Flat, it was cool to see what they decided on for the button layout, and the purple buttons were a great change of pace. On top of that, it was immediately clear that this thing was about as big as my Mayflash F500 Elite or the F700 I reviewed earlier this year. As some of you know, I typically lean more towards small and compact controllers for various reasons. However, the awesome thing about Mayflash going this route is it allows for full-sized arcade buttons to be used. I love the idea of being able to slot in some translucent screw-on buttons like a nice set of Seimitsu's or Crown 202's. I started thinking about all the cool mixing and matching I could do with plungers and rims. Needless to say, I recognized a lot of potential. The Mayflash products I've purchased have always been of excellent quality, so I was very interested in getting my hands on one. I reached out to Mayflash and they sent me a unit, so a huge thanks to my contact for helping with the arrangements. With all that said, let's dig into the F500 Flat and see what it's got. I usually share weight and dimensions later on when reviewing controllers, but this thing is an absolute beast, cracking the weigh scale with its 2,270 grams, or just a touch over 5 pounds. This is essentially the equivalent of the M56A2s Drake and Vasquez use. This thing is serious. It measures about 14 inches across, 9 inches deep, and 2.5 inches thick at the back. It has a slight taper, so the front is just a little over 2 inches. As you can see, we have a 14-button layout with directions, action buttons, and then L3 and R3. What's nice about being on a Mayflash controller like this is we get a nice big start button. All of these are 24mm, of course, except for the up or jump button, which is your standard 30mm. The buttons have a more linear feel, so if you're coming from something clicky or with noticeable resistance, you won't have that with these. The quality is fine for stock parts, but if you don't want to deviate from established preferences, you may want to swap these out before long. Along the top we have 3 toggles. The one closest to the side covers X input, consoles, and D input, PS3 and SNK. The next one over toggles between the left stick, D-pad, and right stick. Last but not least, the turbo toggle switches between turbo 1 and turbo 2 for 15 and 25 times per second respectively. Next to the toggles we have the turbo button, T-pad, select/back/share/view, and PS/home. You'll find the attached 3-meter USB cable tucked away in the storage compartment on the controller's left side. As usual, this keeps things nice and neat. The front face has an area with the vibration wrist strap connector, mic mute button, and wired headset jack. The top layer is a removable acrylic clear panel, so you can put custom art on your controller, which I'll certainly do at some point. Below this is a metal plate. We have a second metal plate on the bottom, and then these rubber pads are for surface grip. With the controller you get one OTG USB cable, a micro USB cable, 4 rubber feet, screws, and a manual. The F500 Flat is compatible with PS3 and PS4, Xbox Series S/X, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Switch, PC, Windows, Mac OS, Android, Raspberry Pi, Steam, Steam Deck, Neo Geo Mini, Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, Sega Mega Drive Mini, Sega Genesis Mini, Sega Astro City Mini, PS Classic Mini. We also have PS5 compatibility, provided you get a Mayflash Converter Magic S Ultimate or Magic Boots for PS4. The F500 Flat boasts 5 SOCD modes, including Tournament Mode, Last Input Priority, Standard Mode, First Input Priority, and SOCD Off or Default Mode. The feeling of this controller makes an impact. Because of its sheer weight in my lap, it feels like it's melding with my body and is pretty comfortable. If you're playing tabletop, you'll have a much higher resting arm position compared to using a controller that's 12mm thick. With the added weight from the metal plates, you'll also have plenty of stability. Some players aren't into playing with all 30mm buttons on this kind of controller, so another nice thing about the F500 Flat having mostly 24mm buttons is that your fingers don't have to spread out as much. These are a few things to consider depending on what you're after in a controller. Either way, it controls incredibly well, inputs are consistent from what I've experienced over the last month and a half, and there's been no problem with lag, connectivity, or anything else. In conclusion, I think Mayflash has produced an incredibly functional controller that feels solid, plays great, and welcomes customization. If you're after something more sizable and want that arcade button experience like on stick, then the F500 Flat is a no-brainer. You can find it on Amazon for around 134 Canadian or about 90 USD. It'll be interesting to see if Mayflash further explores the all-button realm. I wouldn't mind seeing what they come up with for something smaller and more compact, but even if they don't, it's great we finally have something like the F500 Flat available. Another massive thanks to Mayflash and everyone who stuck around until the end. Let me know in the comments if you plan on picking this up or have any others in mind. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.